if you write down whatever that makes you feel good and happy, and you write down whatever feels good, less good, and less happy, and you start erasing what doesn't feel so good, and start doing more of what feels good. I said it's simple to feel good. It's so simple. So ask those questions, answer them truthfully.
Thank you so much for listening to Urbanistica podcast. I am Mustafa Sharif, an urban planner, and you're more than welcome to join my big journey of exploring the making of smarter and more livable cities. Please don't forget to follow Urbanistica on the different social media platforms, and also let's connect on LinkedIn. Big thanks to Urbanistica podcast partner, AFRY. AFRY is an international engineering and design company providing sustainable solutions in the fields of energy, industry, and infrastructure. Are you ready for a new episode? Let's go for it.
And I'm so happy because this episode is going to be the final episode for 2020. And I have an amazing guest today with me. I have the pleasure to welcome Amo to Urbanistica podcast. Hey, and welcome.
Hello, Mustafa. Nice to see you, man. Long time no see, man.
Yes,
You're
yes.
south in Sweden, and I'm up here in the middle of Stockholm, just longing. And your office is right by my office, right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
It's crazy, but it's nice to see you.
Likewise.
And I'm honored and appreciate that you want to have me on your podcast.
My pleasure. It's a big honor for me. Thank you so much for giving your time to record the episode. We had a big plan to do it. When was it, in April or?
April, May, or something. Yes, it was early, but my internet at home, my home office, was not so good.
It was in the beginning of the pandemic, right?
Exactly.
How are you doing now?
I'm really good, thank you. I just told the guy who I had lunch with. He said, "How are you?" I told him, "I feel like I deserve really, really good." And he's like, "Oh, that's so different," because people say in Swedish, I feel like I deserve like bad, but I feel good, man. I feel so good. I have so much energy, and this year it's been tough for everybody, but it's been a great year for building relationships and holding on your relationship that you have today.
True. And I love this energy in you. And that's why you're here to inspire us and also to get us ready to start 2021. So, Amo, you are our storyteller for this episode. How would you like to introduce yourself? And please tell us, what are you passionate about?
Oh, my name is Amo Cartwright. As you said before, I'm from south of Sweden, where you actually are right now. And my mother is Swedish. My father's from the Bahamas. So I go to the Bahamas a lot. Not this year, though. But I actually managed to come to Mexico in the end of March. I came home, but I didn't get to go to the Bahamas this year. Otherwise, beautiful, and you really relax there on the islands. It's so lovely. But Amo, and I call myself, well, people call me the smiling man or golden man. My philosophy, the golden mindset, is about well-being. It's not about being positive. It's about knowing what I feel good about, the things that make me feel good, and when I feel good, I do good. So, life is so much pleasure in life, and we're so blurred inside our head. It's like a mist. So we go in a mist. We go fumble everywhere, and we can't find our way forward. So we go in the same tracks we've been going all life, and we know we're not feeling good, but we don't ask the questions. How? Why am I doing this? How do I feel? Why do I feel this? And I speak a lot. Sorry.
No. It's fine.
I'm also a lecturer, so so that's my fault.
Because my question is, why are you doing this? Why you're having the golden mindset? What is your why in this life?
My why, my purpose. I told this plenty years ago. is to make as many people as I can feel good with themselves and do good. How to be more effective, how to learn better, how to be asking questions to yourself. I always say, hey, if you were a kid, you'll ask 1,000 questions, right? Because kids ask thousands of questions. They're curious.
Yeah.
The day you stop being curious, that's the day you stop evolving. Curiosity, wow, it's the best thing in the world. So I have 2 daughters, and when they ask me questions, and I don't just say because, I explain this is, and if I don't know the answer, I look up the answer. So I learn so much from my kids because they have the funniest questions.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Lucia the other day, you know, and it was so funny. It was I so good. I love it.
That's
so
amazing.
It's about being curious about life and yourself, and other people.
When did this start for you? Like the golden mindset that you start to think, to have this mindset. When was the moment? Is there any specific moment?
Yeah, yes, it is. It was when I just turned 21 or something. I had a very rough upbringing with my mother. I lived with my mother, and I had a lot of abuse, physical and mentally. My mother is Swedish, and she called us names, and which was very hard when you hear your mother degrade you and call you worthless and nigger and blah blah, all those stuff. And then I started working at a hospital for mentally ill people, and those people, a lot of them were similar to the ways I recognized from my mother. So I started interviewing them. I was sitting down, talking, being really curious. Again, curious. I always been asked a lot of questions. And after a year, I went home to my mother and I spoke to her and I said, I need to talk to you about my upbringing, when I grew up and stuff, how that affected me, and how that affected other people, because when they said nigger to me, I fought, and that was nothing I want to do. I was always kind and I was good in school and all of that, but those words was so loaded with anger because I wanted my mother to say I love you. She never said I love you, but just said how worthless I was. And I was good in sports and good in school, but never was to any games and it doesn't matter. But then I spoke to her and told her all my feelings for 3 hours. I cried and cried. And then I said, I forgive you. I love you. And I hugged her. And I walked out of that door. When I closed that door, I closed the door mentally in my brain because I've just been sweeping it under the rug, sweeping all that stuff under the rug. So that's why I exploded a lot. Pop, 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 pop. But now I said, wow, I was so joyful. I was jumping home, I was running. I can't, that day, whoa! It was a hallelujah moment, as they say. But one thing I always tell people, I didn't forgive her for her. I forgive her for me, so I can move forward.
To let it go.
To let it go. I still spoke to her. I still speak to her. I still see her. But I now, whatever she says, can't hurt me. Because I decided when I came home that I have to have this feeling. I have to keep having this feeling. Wow, what should I do? And then I found a Post-its, and I wrote on the Post-its, and I wrote, "You are good, Amo," because I had a very low self-esteem. Good, I believed in myself when it came to sports, school, but his self-esteem was so low. And then I put it on my bathroom mirror, and I said, I promised myself to say every time I come in the bathroom, and I drink a lot of water because I walk a lot. So I said, 5 times. I'm going to say it every time I'm in my bathroom. I'm going to look myself in the eyes in the mirror, and I'm going to say, "You're good, Amo. You're good, Amo." And then I was 21. So I was laughing a lot in the beginning, feeling it was stupid.
Yeah.
But then I kept doing it. And after like 9 months, something like that, I could take down this Post-it. I felt like, wow. And I said, from this day on, I decide how I feel. Nobody else.
Nobody else.
Somebody calls me anything or says want to fight me or something. Hey, I feel good. How do you feel?
So you own your own feelings.
All the time. And that's the most important. I keep telling people that it's so important to recognize, why do I get mad for these different type of stuff? Like I got mad for when people called me nigger. I could just ignore them. I should have ignored them, but I didn't, because it was so loaded because of my mother. So why do you get mad? Why do you feel this way when your girlfriend or boyfriend says like this? Maybe because something happened in your past with your parents or stuff like that. I mean, we have to ask questions about ourselves, to ourselves. That's not being egoistic. The egoistic thing is not to ask questions, why I feel this way and why do I want this. The egoistic way is to be like you are, not asking yourself questions, because then you're just gonna, I want this, and you're just gonna think about yourself while you say you think about others, but you don't really.
Yeah, exactly.
We all have an ego, and I have an ego, you have an ego, but it's how you talk to that ego that makes a difference. So I talk to my ego, I say, hey, you really need this? No, but I want this. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know the difference.
Exactly. Because in urban planning and planning cities, we have the hardware, like the buildings, the streets, and the software, the people. And we are focusing so much on the hardware, but sometimes I feel that we are forgetting about the software, the people. That's why you're here. So how especially now and during these times with the pandemic, how can we be more in the good mood, less stressful, like keep the relationships? Give us some key elements.
Well, I already gave you one key element, is asking questions. What makes me feel good? And just don't answer, a new car, a new clothes, new shoes. But really, what makes me happy? That doesn't cost 1 cent. Most of the time, you have stuff. Your family, your sister, your brother, your good friends, and appreciation. I have a roof over my head. Now I'm in at my office, but I still have a roof over my head. Every morning that when I wake up, since I was 21, I say this, I appreciate that I woke up. It's going to be a beautiful day. I say this every morning even today. That even though I know it, I think it, I say it out loud. I appreciate that I woke up. It's going to be a beautiful day. Because this is like a mantra. When I say it out loud, it becomes real. It's no mumbo jumbo. It's just like, I feel like it's real. It's like if I tell you something, you're my good friend, and I tell you something, or I just think it, you won't understand. If I just think it, you won't really get it.
No.
Or I talk around it. But if I'm very direct at you,
yeah,
boom, that hits you, man. It hits you, and the small things that you have today, appreciate that. Especially if you look at people where money is not number one. I mean, maybe poor people, let's say people who don't have as good as we have. I mean, their family values, wow. I mean, wow. Because they know, they appreciate everyone. They're thankful. They have gratitude for what they already have. And yes, they want more, maybe, but they are very grateful what they have today. That they are alive. They have each other. They help. It's beautiful.
So one key element is also to appreciate what you have and be more connected to your people.
Yes, of course. I mean, we as human species, we are like a pack of wolves. We need each other. when if you get lost or you are alone, you can't be alone. The wolf always dies. I mean, if you don't find a new flock. So that's why we always want to find our flocks, even if we maybe don't like that flock. Maybe it's a racist group, for example, but I don't have anywhere to turn right now, and they giving me some love, so I'll just jump in there. But I'm not really a racist, but this or whatever. It could be a party of social democrats, or
Yeah.
doesn't matter. You want to feel like you have any like you have value, and that people appreciate you.
And how can we be less stressful in our cities? And now we are not really in the city, we are at our homes, working from homes, doing almost everything from home. How can we be less stressful? What do you have for advice for us?
Give me an example of stress.
Like during a normal working day, waking up, rushing to the PC, then you have your kids, they cannot go to school, and then things getting really escalated, and you get angry maybe when you talk to your kids, and maybe same to your colleagues in the mail, and even with yourself.
Okay, well, it's pretty easy. I have 2 kids. I work from home at times. What I usually do is that I have a room where I do, and I know personally that the 2 and 6, they will come knocking on that door sooner or later. So I always tell the meeting, my daughters might come and knock on the door, being honest, and that because everybody has an understanding now, because everybody working from home.
Yeah.
So why should you get angry if there comes a kid into that room? Because everybody is in the same situation. It could happen. Yes, you're in a maybe important meeting, but make it like take away that feeling that it's something bad that happens if the kids comes in, and tell people, be direct. Like I said before, be direct with the people you're talking to. I have my kids at home today. My husband or my wife ain't here, so they might come in here. Just so you know, I want to tell you beforehand. So hope you have understanding for that. Most times people have understanding, and if there's 1 or 2 who doesn't, well, I'm sorry for them. And honestly, because that stress is just built up. Because what is stress? Most of the time, stress is expectations of others. What Mustafa expecting of me now, I think that you're expecting this from me. So because of that, I stress myself up. Oh, I have to sit still in this chair. I have to do this. Hey, chill out. Ask Mustafa, what does he expect? What do you want from me? What's the way you think we have this meeting could be the best? If it's now a meeting, if we're talking about that, and picking up now, in Sweden you still have kids in school. So when you pick up at school, don't rush home, because who are you in a rush for? Because your kids, they're not never say, oh, I have to go home. I want to go home. I want to go home. They usually want to sit. They still want to be in school when you pick them up. And then you want to rush them home to make maybe food or dinner, but they get food and dinner in Swedish schools, and fruits and stuff. There's no rush. You're only building up that rush because you're in that old tracks. You've been going all day, but you want trying to see if those tracks are really good for you. Asking questions again. Is it good for my children? When I stress, what happens with my children? Do they get stressed? And like you said before, stress makes you mad. It makes you forget stuff. That's not positive. I know that for sure. And you don't want to be like, oh, I have Alzheimer's already. No. You're like, hey, because you're not alert. When people say there's good and bad stress, there's only bad stress, because your body can't say what's good and what's bad when it comes to stress. Because the reaction in your body and the enzymes and all of that, it's the same when it's good and bad.
So to start with, how do we break it down? How do we kill the stress? Give us
Ask yourself questions all the time, and be direct to the people. If there's other people involved, be direct. and ask yourself, like I said again, ask questions. Like, why am I stressing? What good does it come out of my stressing? Will it make me better? Will I feel better? Will I do better? No, come on.
Yeah.
If you ask all these questions, probably by the third question, you're like, shit, I don't need to stress.
But Amo, is it possible to keep the good mood 24/7? Is it really possible?
It's possible if you want to. I usually, I'm going to tell you how possible it is.
Tell me.
Because I think in like 12 or 13 years, since I was 29 or 30, I haven't had a single nightmare. I even dream good dreams. Isn't that crazy?
What do you drink?
Why? You know why? Because
Why?
I always think about the good things that could happen, the possibilities. When I started doing lectures a couple of years ago, I dreamt just before a lecture. It was for a pretty big company, but not very big. I dreamt I had a lecture with ICA-handlarnas, IKEA-handlarnas, their CEOs, the 4, 5, 6 biggest CEOs in the Sweden.
The giants.
The big giants. I dreamt, and I like, did I do that yesterday? No, I'm going to have it today. I'm going to have it, but for one company. I even dreamed good. Because it went so well, and they all of them wanted to have me at their place, of course. It's a positive, good dream. That's a go-getter dream.
Yeah. So it's about the mindset.
It's all about how you talk to yourself all the time. Everybody knows this. I usually tell everybody. Everybody knows what they feel, what makes them feel good, what doesn't make them feel good, and you heard it somewhere before. You read it in a book. You've seen it on YouTube, on TV, anywhere. You heard it in a lecture. But the thing people don't do is the most important thing. They don't act on what they know. You learn, but then you forget what you learn. And then you don't act on it. And you keep going in the same tracks again. And you wonder why. I read all these books. I went to all these lectures. I saw this program. What? Yes, because you're forgetting what you learn. So they say knowledge is power. I say remembering is power.
That's power, yeah. So taking action, not only learning, but
no, remembering what you learned and then put it into action.
Yeah.
But without action, what happens? Nothing. But if I just sit on my sofa like, hey, why is nothing happening? I'm doing so much thinking. Okay. Nothing will happen. You have to put it into action.
Yeah, exactly. And you're giving a lecture. What kind of topics you're talking about and what kind of lecture you're doing?
Well, I'm almost having a lecture right now. So it's something like this. Because I do, this is more or less how I do my lectures. I ask questions, curious questions. And so I get to know the crowd. Usually I ask them before, so I already know a couple of their challenges. And I talk about it and say, hey, Mustafa, you spoke about this at your workplace, or could be anything. I talk about stress. I talk about how to have more well-being in your life and how simple it is to actually do and act on what you remember, like I just said.
Yeah. And now I'm very
simple, but we forget.
Yeah, and now I'm very interested in knowing what you think about future cities, because you have a good experience about the social aspect and the relationship between people. So if I ask you, how do you imagine a smart city? Tell me what comes to your mind. What's the image?
The image is like a city with a lot of parks, like there are today, but that are used now. Also, I think a smart city could be where you have this football field, you have playgrounds, you have a lot of so you could activate yourself. But also a new smart city, I think, should be with TV games and stuff, so people could, but you could only play them there. So people come there and they could only play the game right there. So that because a lot of people are doing TV games, and especially when you catch the young people who's hanging at home playing but you make a event, a thing to come. Hey, let's go down to the park, and like people did way before when we were young. But to play football or something, they don't do that as much. It's more us older people who do that now. But to get the young people to come there, I mean, the teenagers who plays a lot, I think that would be a cool smart city. And then you have like a face activation. So I recognize, and there's okay, you have 2 hours to play, or 1 hour, or 30 minutes. So I think that would be super cool.
So integrating technology in public spaces.
Yeah, I mean, to use it for socializing.
Yeah.
To see each other for real. I mean, I'm talking now post-corona, of course.
Yeah.
COVID-19. Yeah. But I mean, so we could, because we need this. We need the socializing, the real one, not the digital one. We need here. I could stand with 5 friends there playing video games. Hey, like they used to do in the arcades before.
Yeah. The
Exactly.
Pac-Man, the Mario.
Yeah, exactly. And you play pinball games and stuff.
Yeah. So you mentioned the group of teenagers. How about the other people, the adults, let's say, the old people, elderly?
Yeah, but if you do like a survey or something, and you ask what would category 60 to 80 or to 100, whatever, and 60 to 40, what do you really would like to have in a park that would make you want to come there with your friends or your family and stuff? Because most of the things, I mean, I like parks as it is today. Most of the time there's a little place where you could barbecue. You have playground, you have a little grass, you have 3 trees, you have maybe a little pond or something like that. For me, that's appreciation. I mean, it's so beautiful. I mean, that's the small things, and it's also free because the city is providing it, and that doesn't cost any. Well, the playground costs, but otherwise everything else is free, more or less.
What do you see in the smart city, in the future city? You mentioned the public spaces with the technology, the greenery. What else you see?
Well, it's a hard question because I want to see socializing like it was in 1985 or 1995. That's because I believe more diverse socializing. I mean, it's already, well, in Sweden at least, it's pretty diverse. But I mean, I don't know. That's hard. I have to come back to you on that one.
Yeah. And do you think that we still need to meet IRL with all this VR technology? Like we have so good technology now. Do you still that we gonna continue with socializing physically?
So you met me before, right?
Yeah, several times.
Yeah. So is this the same?
No, actually, you're more crazy when it's IRL.
Yeah, but the feeling also is not the same. You can't feel your full body. You can't feel the body language. The feeling you create when the energy fields and all whatever it is. There's something that's different when you see somebody up like this. I mean, like close up.
But maybe we didn't learn this, like creating feelings to the 2-dimensional. What do you think? Or no, we even
no. I mean, I'm for technology. This is really good, but it cannot be a substitute for meeting IRL. That's what I'm saying. We will always need IRL because without the social interactions between people, the real social interacting, we will get more mental ill. We will have more people with depression, anxiety, and all of that. I wrote a little article about that, about how to win and feel good about in the pandemic. A lot of people are social on social media, and very few are social IRL. It's easy to be, but I always say it's great to be social on social media or here digital like this, but it's super great, golden, if you could be social in real life. Because it's easy to talk to you now. People could have a little be hard to talk to and speak when they are seeing person like this in the real life. And that's why a lot of people could be, catfishing, trolling on internet and stuff.
Yeah, I find it also interesting because I had so many people in LinkedIn or Instagram, they are so engaged, like likes, comments. Many of them I met, not all of them, many of them, when I met in ERL, this was pre-corona also.
Yeah.
Like they're so cold. I was thinking like if there is something happened that I didn't know about. But then it's, as you mentioned, that they are like really engaged in the social media, but maybe it's a bit hard or tough in real life.
And that's why I always tell people, hey, what you see is what you get. Like yesterday, I don't know so if you saw my video, I was baking. I wasn't even going to put up. That video was for Amora because she wanted to do a little YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We filmed, and then she did. And I just was going to take the flour. We're going to bake. It was going to make pancakes. And then I take the flour and I dropped it on my head all over. So I had a flour everywhere. And I was laughing. She was laughing. My kids were laughing. And I said, hey, we got some snow this year. Woo! Yeah, but you have to make the best out of every situation. It's what you see on my social media, I have pretty, my LinkedIn is pretty big, but that is what you get. And I tell people, when you see me, hey, say hi. I'm going to give you a hug pre-corona.
Yeah.
Of course. But always, I talk to everybody. That's the person you could, I don't know what you say, but you met me a couple of times. Am I the same or am I
no,
just...
Actually, not the same. You're more crazy, as I told you. But also, so how do we do it now? Now we have been at home, less socializing ERL. So how do we keep these relations, like real relations, when we are back?
Today you just need to. It's easy. Instead of texting, call. Or maybe do a video call to really say hi, mama, hi, papa, hi, sister, hi, brother. Yes, you can't see them. Hi, grandma, grandfather. It's so important to just show them that you appreciate them, that you're thankful for them. And sometimes when I always tell people, tell them why you appreciate them. What about them do you appreciate? Be specific. I can say, I appreciate you. Okay. That's so much I could appreciate by you. Like I said, I appreciate you for calling and want to have me in your podcast. I appreciate you as a friend because you're a really nice friend and stuff like that. Maybe be specific.
Yeah, and also be brave to tell it.
Yeah, but I don't see. This is what I think is.
You're going crazy, huh?
Yes, I'm going to go crazy. We say it's brave to be what we call it vulnerable, to tell somebody that you love. Oh, tell them about how you really feel about them and why you feel it. Is that really being brave, or just being honest?
I got your point. Yeah.
That's being honest. To be a lot of people, oh, you're so brave, who tells everybody that your mother's about your mother, about this. That's not brave. That's just on.
We're just putting a layer on us.
Yeah, everything, and that's why people have a big issue coming down to the core, because we've been putting on layers, and we're trying to take it off. And I went to. They say, I took this course now for well-being, let's say.
Yeah.
I feel good now for 2 minutes, about 2 weeks. And then you feel, because you think you're done, because you pull away 3 layers.
Yeah.
You on over the years, you put like 500 layers. It's going to take time.
True.
Because it's so much you haven't worked in, the questions, A lot of people I coach, I mean, they think, oh, when am I going to get better? It will take time. I said,
Yeah.
this is not. I'm still working, and I started my journey 21 years ago. I mean, it takes time.
Yeah, it takes time.
Now I came to a point where I felt more or less. I say, hey, an issue. I find a solution for every issue.
Mm. Yeah, and I'm also like really grateful that you give your valuable time to 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 be a part of this podcast. And soon 2021 is here. I would love that to take three takeaway messages from you to all the listeners, like to start this new year, to be, how to say, a better version of themselves. Like we stop putting layers. So what do you have in your mind and heart to tell us?
Yeah, one of them I already spoke about, but it's questions. Be honest. Ask yourself questions, reflections. You could call reflection, but questions are reflections when you answer them. Otherwise, it's just I don't know. It's just a bad mirror. You're looking in the mirror and you're like a vampire. You don't have no reflection
Mm.
because you have to answer the questions also. And the second one, responsibility. That's actually the first one I would like to say. Take responsibility for what you could do and not do. Because how you react and you act is you. That's your responsibility. You could tell, oh, Mustafa said this, so I reacted by doing bad or saying the same thing, saying something bad to him. But how does that look? You're doing the same. You think he did something bad, so you want to respond with something bad. Too bad doesn't make it right? The classic. I said before, life is easy, just as long as we ask the question and we understand. Okay, I said this. This didn't sound good. I need to think about this. Ask questions. Take responsibility over your life. Don't blame it on other people or circumstances. Like people, I do a lot of this. I notice this now. I see myself doing this. I don't know why. It doesn't matter. Stop doing this. No, I'm just kidding. But and the third thing is appreciate what you have. Look at what you have that doesn't cost money today. Write that down, and you can put it on a list on your room, in your room, on a post-it, whatever, and see it. Oh, I have this, and that doesn't cost money. I have my wife, my husband, my kids, my grandmother, whatever. The things that doesn't cost you money today is usually the things that are most important to you when you're in a bad place. As I mean, mentally bad place, because money can't buy you happiness, like classic. Only people around you could give you that real joy inside you.
Yeah.
And yourself.
And what kind of question that we should ask ourselves? You mentioned several in the beginning, but here to summarize, tell me like some question that I will ask myself after this episode, and I will reflect and take action.
What things in my life don't I feel good with? Don't I feel happy with? And what things in my life do I feel happy or feel good when I do? Because why I say that is because those two questions is very easy questions, right?
Yeah.
But if you write down whatever that makes you feel good and happy, and you write down whatever feels good, less good, and less happy, and you start erasing what doesn't feel so good, and start doing more of what feels good. I said it's simple to feel good. It's so simple. So ask those questions, answer them truthfully. And I mean, I had lectures where I had people leave their job because of these easy questions. And actually, the CEO thanked me because he knew they were doing well, but he said they thanked me and they thanked him because, hey, I didn't tell them to leave, but I just told them these questions, and they start, hey, I don't feel good here. I want to do this and this.
So these questions, Well, Amo, you're how to say it, an eye opener, and I'm really grateful for your time, your words, and it's. I feel so happy when we talk about the software and not only about the hardware in the city. So it was
Yeah,
a
I'm
great
better at the
conversation,
softer. Yeah, I'm better at the softer one, and you're good at the harder. I'm very.
and that's why we are doing this conversation to join the
Yeah,
forces.
exactly. Take a good
I'm
softer.
curious. I'm curious now to know where is your favorite public space in the city? In which city is your favorite and why?
Well, like you say, I could say Bahamas, and well, and not in Inagua is an island in the Bahamas. Beautiful beaches. But in the city, it is actually summer in Sweden. Amazing. I mean, especially in Stockholm and Helsingborg, where you got water. I could spend it anywhere, but just that I want to see water. I mean, if I see water in a city, I get, you know.
So you like waterfront spaces.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I mentioned Bahamas, because I like the water. I like to go in the water and swim.
Awesome. So what is gonna be the next step for you, Amo? What is your next step, 2021?
2021, well, get even more people to have a lecture, read my book that's coming hopefully soon, and make more people feel good about themselves and do good to others. Yeah.
Awesome. It's a big mission, and it's a great mission as well.
It's a purpose. This until I die, that's what I'm gonna do. And like I said, money is good, but it's not the most important. But I still have to feed my daughters, feed myself and stuff. And my father lives with me, so. But I do a lot of things for free. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you want a lecture, you need to pay. I mean, I have a foundation for homeless people and stuff like that. So yeah.
Amazing. So do you have 3 hashtags for this episode before we end it?
The golden mindset, of course.
Hashtag number 1, yeah, of course.
And then Amonomics, because that's the name of the coming book, and the way instead of economics, it's Amonomics. My thoughts.
What is it going to be about before we go to the 3rd hashtag?
The book is like, first of all, I wanted it to be like a pocket book. So one chapter could be just 3 pages, or 1 page, or 2 pages maybe, but it's fear, for example. So if you're feeling fear going to a date, or going into a meeting, or important meeting, or want to talk to your mother, why do I feel? So little questions and things that might get you to feel less fear.
It's like a guidebook before situation.
Yeah, you can say it's short. It's good, like 50 pages or something. And I already wrote a lot, and I'm finishing up with some questions and stuff.
Nice.
So I wanted it to be easy read, and you don't have to read it like I'm saying in the start. If you feel fear, just jump to fear. If you feel happy or joyful, go to that space and
like each chapter for each situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Very interesting book.
And read it until you do. That's what I also say in the book, because people, like I said before, people read and then jump and then forget.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to read it. So the 3rd hashtag gonna be?
Should be Urbanistica podcast, right?
Thank you so much. Well, Amo, I'm really happy again. Every time I'm so happy to talk to you. Thank you again for giving your valuable time for this episode.
I appreciate that you want to have me on, who's not a urban living person. Well, I am urban living, but know so much about it. I really appreciate it, and it was a great conversation. And I spoke a little more than I used to, but that's good.
So hopefully see you soon again.
Yes, whenever you come to Stockholm, or I come to Skåne.
Yeah, thank you, Amo.
Appreciate it. See you later. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you so much for listening to Urbanistica podcast. I hope you really enjoyed this episode. You learned something new and also got inspired by the guest. Don't forget to share the episode on your social media and recommend it to people you think they are really interested in this topic. Thank you so much again for giving your valuable time to Urbanistica podcast. I am Mustafa Sharif. Keep up the good work. Keep loving cities.